I'm not sure where you wanted to start at, but they never really tried to like teaching this or like explaining. Cause I never. This is the first time I've ever done this. I've been doing like videos about subjects randomly. That stuff
Mm.
came of interest.
So do you want to start by talking? Should we start by going into your work, or do you want to go through some of the Christian stuff first?
Everyone's interested in the Christian shit, so I guess we'll start with that. That's the only part any people are even interested in.
Uh, I'm hoping people might start finding your work interesting, especially at Pan Mythica 3. You've essentially created your own system of magic
Yeah,
that at least through chaos magic principles, for all intents and purposes, it would work. It would definitely work. It's solid.
yeah, that's pretty good results with it. Me and my friend Daniel have been having great results using it, and he developed his own system of chaos magic. He's mixing the Egyptian deities with all kinds of stuff.
That's good.
He's got a pantheon mixed up like these two or three more religions. He's picked up just little bits and pieces of and made stuff.
And some of it
So I
reminds me a bit
think
of Enochian magic too.
some of it is kind of Enochian. Some of the rituals are kind of structured that way.
And because you
And
used a
that's
kind
basically,
of a black obsidian looking mirror. Are you scrying
yeah.
when with that mirror that you have the what the four um
I'm
row
not really
card writing on it? Is
sure.
that what is that mirror obsidian or
Uh, this picture frame's painted black. I don't have the money for an obsidian. I gotta be
mm,
careful not to get in the image, but this is the blank one I have in front of my that I have next to my bed for that I have. It's just a
that's
picture frame. They're cheap picture frames from Target.
I haven't thought of that because I've been wanting to get into more Enochian stuff, and that's a really good idea, painting it black and then
Paint the back of the glass black to make it, and you paint. And I could paint the symbols. This one I actually did it in the symbols are actually painted inside. I had to paint them in reverse on the inside.
mm,
But the next time when I start selling these, I might paint them on the outside, so it'd be a lot easier.
yeah,
But
that's a good point.
that's the big one.
So you do a lot of scrying in your
This one's a door. This one's a portal.
mm.
I have pictures on my computer of demons literally coming out of this.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting ones. Use
Yeah,
a lot of smoke, but the way you list different entities and stuff like that, I pretty much agree with everything you're writing on those points because I've seen a lot of the kind of tiers of entities that you kind of go through. I think it's in Pan Mythica 3.
pictures of some of them in the book. There's pictures of some of them, like giving examples of different types of energies when they manifest.
Mm.
Pictures of it, but I haven't really explained this guy that much in my book. But
Who's
like
that?
how
Is it?
these houses demons. He houses the demons. He houses the stuff I don't want to channel I don't want inside of me. Like if I channel something that's really dangerous,
You
like
put it in him.
if I was to channel something I don't want inside of me, it'll go in here and I'll meditate. Well, I'll put it in the on this side of the altar and I'll be on this side and I can meditate. Okay, I guess they're touching, so
I mean,
got those
you
bowls.
set up well.
Yeah, I can play them, but I don't know how well it records though. I've been told they sound pretty horrible on the phone. But I got those. I got more little ones down here. I got a little one down here. I'm not gonna hit that one because that one's really high pitched. It's really hard in the ears. But it's supposed to work on the third eye. I've got a print up of my books. I got a large printout of my stuff, my content. These are the Pan Mythicas printed
Oh,
when I
that's
did it on
great.
Lulu.
like I think you should have you self-published them?
Yeah, they're still published, but no one's buying. That's the problem. I can't get anyone interested.
Oh yeah, because the Kiwi farms. But
Yeah,
I don't like. Not everyone likes electronic. You know,
yeah, I
I
like
like
electronic
physical. I like physical
because
copies of books.
yeah, when the energies are flowing, sometimes I break the electronics. Sometimes my computer like has
Mm.
errors and shit. When I'm channeling something really heavy, I can't. Sometimes the keyboard. My neighbor's a computer tech told me the keyboard will disable the connection if it gets static. If static hits the keyboard, it'll shut off the USB to protect itself, and then it won't turn back on. Even after I turn the computer off, Windows 10 doesn't ever turn off all the way. It's like some part of it's always still awake.
Mm.
So I'm still actually writing these. These books are never really done. I'm always discovering new stuff.
And
There's always going to be stuff being discovered.
one important question, and I already know this from communicating with you. How did this all start? What was the beginning?
My older brother on my 18th birthday got me the Simon Necronomicon.
Hold on one second.
The hills I had to write since the spell was like I couldn't get the part. Yeah, that thing.
Yep. And one thing to people who think this book is fake, um,
It
it
chaos magic.
is, but it works.
Under chaos, it does work.
Yeah, under chaos magic principles. I've gotten some success with the
There's a couple
Necronomicon.
tweaks,
I've had weird things happen with that book. There it is.
a couple tweaks on those spells, they become usable. You change the armor around.
Mm.
Some of the things you can't get are really extremely hard to get. And you just do a few tweaks, you can make it. It does become usable. And this one helps
Oh,
too. For
yeah,
like
I actually own
this
that
guy helps
book
for
too, the exact
spell
same
sorcery.
one, that exact same Goetia, but it's
It
in
helps for
another state.
structure.
I've
And
got
I
a lot of books. I've got a lot of books. I've got
this
a,
one
a
runs off. This one
couple of
runs off of
Goetias.
Summoning Spirits runs off of Aleister Crowley,
Mm.
and this one Christianity. I can rework these into protection spells. I can change God to the name of a spirit and do a chaos magic out of this thing. It does prayers. It's got prayers and routing demons. I can make protection spells from that. And I've got these lesson plans from another guy that I met at a magic fair called Oberon Zell Ravenheart, and these are like a children's teaching series. Usually they don't. Usually he doesn't let children under a certain age join the classes because
Mm.
it can be dangerous because it does teach about the dark arts. It teaches defense, but it could easily be worked anyways into something dangerous.
Mm.
So I think the limit is 13 for his school, for his online school. And his lesson plans cover a little bit of he touches everything, a little bit of everything. So he touches everything in his book. It's not like in depth or anything. I mean, he's not in depth on any one subject, but this thing was pretty useful in asking questions when I was talking to the entities. This
Mm.
was pretty useful. It covers a little
Oops.
basic of all the different types of magics out there. There's herbs in here. There's Yule, there's holidays, just
So it's got a bit of
about
paganism in it too.
it's mostly paganism. It's got all kinds of stuff. Just a little. It's a beginner of everything. He gives further reading, like for reading materials, like
Mm.
what to read if you want to get more in depth into a subject. He'll link to like better reading materials, like books that go much deeper. And that's how I based my book on, was off of those.
Okay.
That's how I got the idea from. And I started channeling a Michiro, I think in 2007, started obtaining the material.
So the first, just to get this clear for people later on, the first time you channeled an entity, what happened? Like, how did
Uh,
that begin? I
it
know
was
you.
the entity name. It was a guy. It was the entity Jacoba. It was the first thing I ever summoned off the Necronomicon. I used the Necronomicon spell book.
Oh yeah,
which is the I think it's not the one that we have right now. It's another thinner one.
I've got one. I think I've
This
got it lying over here.
and
This
this
book for people.
it's totally off camera. There we go. Yeah, that's the one. And the spell is like Z Anacampa, Z Kia, or something like that. The spell
Mm.
on it. And it was like, shit, we've done that so many thousands of times. I almost memorized it. My friend Daniel had it fully memorized. I only had to memorize a little bit. I had most of it memorized. And it
And
was, we were using that like all the freaking time. I summoned this entity named Jacoba. We were up there recording. I had a voice recorder, a cassette recorder at the time.
mm,
And I had an EVP. This voice was talking about the end of the world. It was talking about how it would destroy the world in 13 years. And I think the end of the world was supposed to be 2019. It talked about April 22nd, 2019 would be some kind of an event. And when I calculated the
that's
times out,
interesting.
I calculated the time in Kitasuna years because he said he would destroy the world in 13 years. And it would have been September 13, 2013. He said he was going to destroy the world in fire and all kinds of crazy stuff. But when I calculated out in Kitasuna years, which are different than our years, it turned out to be April 22nd, 2019. And I was like, yeah, I think so. And I looked back, and I was like, I think I know what was happening in April. I think this virus was being created in that damn lab
In
during
Wuhan
April.
province, yeah.
I think that's what was being created. I think that might have been the destruction. And now we're practically going to war with China. It's not even really a cold war. It's starting to get hotter now. The war's getting hotter. It's starting to turn violent.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, I think I may know what's going on. I was like, I can't really talk about it because I don't have any proof. And I usually don't want to mention stuff without any kind of proof. Because
Yeah,
there's no way to really prove any of it.
that's sort of the problem when you're into magic and stuff like that. If you read these auguries and it's it's so hard to get someone to be on the same there's no point trying to convince people half the time. They just think
Yeah,
that oh no, it's just coincidence, or but they usually something to it.
yeah,
And
most people, they're made up. Their mind's already been made up. It's like, it's not telling anybody. Their mind's already made up to begin with. No, it's long since stopped even trying. Trying to sell it because no one's buying it. I got most of my sales because of the kiwi farms. And that's not a rocket launch. That's an M80. Probably in a dumpster. I don't know. But someone's launching M80s on the block above me. So you might hear a few booms.
really,
It happens usually every night. It's like someone does it.
and
But the Christian part, I tried because Christian kept talking about dimensional merges and
mm,
stuff. When I found out Christian through the Geno Samuel documentary, it wasn't even talking about dimensional merge. She was still a he
yeah, yeah,
and all. And I thought me and her, or I guess at that time him, had a lot in common. He at that time even thought his cartoons were real and lived in a different dimension even back then.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I know dimensions. I talk about dimensions in my book. There's like a whole chapter, there's a whole subchapter about the dimensions and their energy levels and all. I was like, yeah, I can teach Chris a whole ton of stuff. If she wants to try to cross her characters over, I got the tools and I got the math equations. I got all the equations. Just have got to write the right spell. And I figured out that if me and her are going to do it, we're going to do this, try to get together and do the spell. Then later on, I find out I got to get a hold of her for reals and find out she believes in the dimensional merge, which is the next level up from what I knew about. Where she claimed to be talking to these characters. Like, I don't know if these things are characters or they're demons masquerading or what
I
was
I
going on.
I 100% believe that Magi-Chan, especially, is some demonic entity that was manipulating Chris's. And I think the idea guys wore down um, Christine's psyche,
Yeah,
and then
broke
it
down.
made it easier. with essentially her psyche being broken down for something to enter. And I think that's why I started making those videos, as I was going, no, Chris is generally possessed. He
Yeah,
has entities in him, and yeah, I didn't expect any of these to go anywhere. Sorry, I keep cutting you out. So,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
what do you think?
I think it might be. I think it might be a combination of entities. Magic Chan's the leader of it. I'm not sure if it's Belial or it's Beelzebub. I'm not sure which one, but Beelzebub's been in her life for a long time, making her disgusting because he's the Lord of the Flies.
Mm,
I guess his thing is filth. And I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
that's a
Magic
good point. That's an
Belial,
archetype. Sorry?
because I think, yeah, because I think Belial could be in Magic, taking the form of Magic Chan, because that's the one that's causing most of the problems now. Like make her be all the debauchery that's taken place
Mm,
since then, making her feel touchy feely at the. Man, I forgot what it was called. Too many gains. When she was there, she claimed she was with Magic Chan. And then after that, she became Magic Chan for a while. When
mm.
after I started knowing her, and she sent me a love letters, and I still have one. I still have one of them where everyone says, "Oh, she don't love you." Well, I know she don't love me, but at the time, she had a pretty good convincing here with a love letter from her.
Love you to the moon and back.
And on October 2019, during right when the railroad trip was supposed to take place. So I guess you can screen cap it, or I'll take a better picture of it in the future. But
Mm.
she said, so there's proof
Yeah, and that's
that
to see the signature. That's definitely
it's definitely her,
quick signature. Yeah.
definitely her signature and her writing. Her writing's pretty bad, but it's better. It's not as bad as a doctor's handwriting, but it is still not the best. That's what a lot of the love shit was caused by. But she was wanting me over there, and Barbara wanted me over there, and she was supposedly really happy to have company. So now I think I know what Barbara was going to try to do if I was over there, and I'm kind of glad I didn't go.
What did you
But I
think?
still gone and just taking a the shot for the team. None of this would have happened. But would have just gave Chris Chan what she wanted, what she was wanting. But MKR Night V got in the way of all of it. She believed a bunch of lies about me. And of
They
course, Christian, I think, was trying to hide the relationship. And I don't do that. If you're with me, you announce it to the world. You get on the rooftops of the bullhorn and start announcing and make a neon sign in your house, say, I'm in love with so and so. And
yeah
that's the way I've been. That's what I did. I made it now. I made it fully public. And you're not gonna run me off, trolls. You can try as hard as you want, but I'm not gonna run off like everybody else. You can threaten me, whatever. I'll report whatever's illegal to the police, and then I will still be there. And now I still think this whole jail saga is a ploy to try to stop me, try to make me disgusted. And I was like, this is definitely not Christine on her own. Someone put her up to it. And I was
yeah.
like, I'm going to still support her anyway. Screw this. It's just another ploy to stop me. And I'm gonna stay through all the way on this and stand my ground.
Fair
And I
enough.
really do want to try to complete this cross these things over. Like she wants to cross them over. I'll help her do it. I've got sigils. I got a black mirror. I can make all that stuff at her house. She's got supplies, but the house will be gone by the time she gets out.
Yeah.
And she's not gonna have anything. And I think Noel's got a secret plan. Sure, I never get to her, and I think she'll dox her own address at some point. Then I'll have access again. It's just a matter of getting to the East Coast.
So yeah, so you're still that dedicated.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay dedicated because I know it's all a ploy to stop me. They designed it. They designed it the way to try to stop me.
And what was it that they freaked out about initially? I know they took your work and took it out of context. And
They took all the context. They wanted to, I was going to teach her some Sorhana. I was going to get her the tools of Sor, and that's the one. That's the collection. That's the spell, the religion that has the human sacrifices in it. And they thought I was going to kill Barb or her or Chris Chan. The skin suit thing, I have no idea where that came from. I
Skin
don't know
suit.
what that came from because I remember it. I haven't seen anything posted about it for a long time. But it's not in my religion to be wearing a skin suit anyway. It's not in the religion. It only talks about I think the religion is just a sacrifice. I think the entity eats the soul, and the participants eat the body, or they eat the meat in the rituals. But it's not. But since Christians considered royalty on Kitasuna, that's not within the religions. The religions won't allow her to be sacrificed no matter what. They're sworn to protect her, and of course they're not going to acknowledge that because
And
that's a positive. Never acknowledge positives.
did you find out that Chris was a reincarnated entity from Kitasuna?
I specifically asked one of the aliens about it. It was like we've been searching for someone named Fahuni years and years. We've been searching for this person for since 2006. We've had a lot of people we thought were candidates for this person. And the aliens always said, no, that's not her. That's not her. And then I showed them Chris Chan. I got a clear image of Chris Chan one day. She posted something, that little cube trick she did, where she slowly turns
Oh
her
yeah.
hands and the cube falls over and says it's a telekinesis. I got
Mm.
screen cap that, sent it off to show it to the aliens, got drunk, channeled the aliens. They said, yep, that's her. We found her. And that was, I think I was still in contact. I think it was, no, it was before that. Shit. It was even before that. I don't even know exactly when it was. It was before 2019. It was somewhere before the October 2019. It had to been late September when I did the actual session. I did the confirmation, but they said that's definitely her. You gotta get in contact with her. You gotta do everything you can to get to her. So I set out. That was my mission. I gotta get to her house. I gotta train her. Gotta train her in the magical systems that'll help her manifest the dimensional merge the best it can be.
Mm.
And I've done a lot of research of my own. I've got hundreds of pages of channeling sessions that I've done that involved summoning spirits and making portals and dimensional gates, trying to cross these things over myself. And I got pictures of the doll on my computer with entities coming rising out of it and stuff like freaking. It's not even like child's play. It's like something else. It's like I don't know what movie would have entities rising out of a doll. It's like Annabelle or something, or even worse than that, because I don't know, that was just the doll just moved around, but this is stuff was rising out of it and
No.
stuff. And entity was pulling a soul out of the doll. It's like something with dolls. You can be gates.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I discovered the puppetry magic and started realizing, oh, these I can make gates out of this too. I could put a sigils inside the doll, and it will have the spirit. That sigils, the spirit it represents, will inhabit the doll. And if I put a sigil for a spirit that can, it's portals, the doll's a portal, and an entity can possess it, and I can communicate with it. And then if it's an entity that can pull spirits through portals, like instead of just being the door that it pulls things through, that I can bring it over, I can cross it over, but there's no way to give it a body. There's no way for it to have form. And I've never been able to solve that problem. And Christian thinks, oh, it'll have form and stuff. And the aliens argued with her over it. And that was the first falling out with her. When she first blocked me, it was because the aliens told her there's absolutely no way that you're going to merge dimensions. The government's got this, has got CERN, and that thing runs on the power
Mm.
for like 100,000 homes in one little tiny speck of space. And that still ain't breaking the dimensional barrier. And there's no way two human minds with the power of a light bulb is going to do it.
Mm.
As I say, the human brain produces like 40 watts of energy. And I was like, if that can't, if millions of watts of energy in a tiny point can't do it, forget it. And the aliens said they can't even do it with their technology. Said they couldn't do it, and they tried telling Christian, it's like we may be able to collide two black holes together, but that's still not enough, or it may just be enough. It's not permanent. It would have to be continuous, and they said they couldn't even do it with all their technology. I was like, forget it. And then she got mad about it. Said, oh, it'll happen. And the aliens, there's just arguments over it. And it's like, no, it can't. And then she got mad at me and blocked me over it because they were getting pretty heated. The conversation got pretty heated. And then she came back again. I don't know if this was the bathwater incident or no. I think the bathwater incident was the first. Was what got me in contact. She tried selling bathwater.
She was selling her own bath water.
Yeah, she tried some Hollywood influencer was selling their bathwater or whatever to make money. But I think it turned out to be a scam. There was no human DNA in it or something like that when they tested it. It was just water. It was just plain water. But that's how I got. I think I got hold of her because she was trying to sell the bathwater thing. But I told her I wanted the medallion, which kind of sucks that it got broken by somebody outside. Someone tried to steal it and broke it.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I don't have the original medallion anymore. That would have been worth a lot.
Yeah, especially now. And plus, it'd just be cool to have one made by Quick.
Yeah, I would have never sold it. I was never gonna sell it if I still had it. I'm thinking about just making one, but there's really no point without the signature on it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have the same value without her signature on the back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just I was supposed to train her in elven magic. She had the mirror of El Era in her room. That's the one she photographed. And she made a black mirror, and that is good magic. She told me she was going to only use it for good magic. So this stuff about me teaching her how to sacrifice things is a load of shit.
Yeah.
I never taught her sex magic. I never got a chance to. I never got to teach her any of the darker stuff. I wasn't going to let her have that because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
Because she's already gone after people with that cursey hame ham move. Try to curse people with bad luck or whatever. It's like if I give her anything real, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if she has no self control. She doesn't have her own. She doesn't control her own self. She's got trolls telling her what to do, and they'll use her as a weapon. They find out it works.
Yeah. That's good that you didn't give her the sex magic and stuff like that because even I'm outside of an organization like the Order Templi Orientis, if getting engaged in sex magic is extremely dangerous, but
Yeah,
it can be probably one of the most powerful forms of magic available.
yeah. My
Uh,
friend Dan is afraid of love magic, which I think is also part of sex magic. He's deathly afraid of it. He won't. He's trying everything he can to stop me from the power I'm going to have. Because now I'm researching love magic.
love magic
Yeah,
is it, I haven't heard of that. It sounds like something.
it works with fertility deities to work with fertility deities.
Okay, so sort of neo-paganist kind of stuff.
Neo pagan, probably working with Astarte or something. Because one of my friends works with Astarte. I think I think she's a triple goddess, isn't she?
Um,
I don't know. I don't
I
remember
don't
which one's the
remember.
triple. Yeah, I got a friend who works with the triple goddess, and she was going to help me get into it a little bit. Get into it a little bit. She uses it for protection. I was going to use it for fertility reasons. Because I was also going to help Chris with the freaking kid, but Chris is too old now to have a healthy child with anybody.
Mm.
Just look up with the triple goddesses.
Do you think Chris could have accidentally pulled an entity through the Black Mirror because of how um, naive Chris can be with regards to getting manipulated? It'd be quite easy for an entity to do this the same.
Yeah, entities are they're a lot smarter than humans. Every religion talks about how smart they are and what they can do. Oh, her name's Hecate.
Hecate,
Hecate,
Hecate.
Hecate, Hecate, depending on if it's Greek or the Roman.
Mm.
That's what she was telling me that Hecate is. I don't know which one was which, but it's the Hecate.
Just whatever you do, don't invoke the goddess Diana. That's always a bad move to make. She'll fuck
Yeah,
you
it's
up.
Diana. Yeah, it's mentioned on here. Diana's mentioned here being Artemis or Diana or Artemis.
And her brother is Lucifer, not the Lucifer from the Bible. That was a mistranslation, but the Lucifer from the Roman pantheon.
Well, is he the light bringer or is that the Bible version?
Both are essentially. There's the pagan Roman Lucifer, which is the light bearer, and then there's the esoteric theosophy base sort of Lucifer from a mistranslation in the Bible. They're both very similar archetypes. But yeah, the reason I really wanted to talk to you is you, if people actually look at your work, especially Pan Mythica Book 3, you're one of the only
Yeah.
people around who can actually say they've created a totally original form of magic, and that's a big
So
deal.
nothing, there's nothing like it then.
Mm.
It's actually truly original.
And I just wanted to, because I think people, because of the hysteria that comes around with the occult and all that stuff, have been too harsh. And to have a look at some of your stuff on a with a different kind of angle and perspective, because
Yeah.
nobody's really done that. And like, if you're happy, we can go go into more detail in another video and I'm happy to go into the Rokat Empire in the Andromeda system and the lore behind everything and the system of magic. If you want to make some more concise videos in the future, because I've got to
Yeah.
jump off in a minute. Sorry?
That's what I'm thinking about doing because the stuff is so deep. There's literally, I think there's about 5,000, 6,000 pages of material total. Like the channeling logs
Mm.
are at 3,400 pages the last time I was in there. I have to reread everything. I have to correct it like 2 or 3 times over because I'm writing this stuff blacked out. There's a totally open channel communicating with these things. Sometimes them communicating amongst themselves. And there's some really crazy shit they're talking about. They talked about plagues and pandemics and stuff without them knowing I was even watching them. So they've been plotting stuff behind my back, and they'll lie to me about it and stuff. It's like I got
Mm.
conversations where they talk amongst themselves, and they'll come back to me. It's like, oh, we're planning to invade the earth, or we're planning to do something, and it's totally different than what they were planning amongst themselves. So I am pretty sure my channel logs are genuine too, because I'm getting information about their technology and stuff, which I put in Pan Mythic. I think Pan Mythic 1 has like the technology, and I don't do any research at all. I do no research until way later on, like when I think I'm pretty done with a book, then I'll start researching stuff. But I can't find anything about the technology. Some of it's just really weird. They got like miniature micro singularities as weapons, and it's like based on like black holes and all this kind of stuff. And it's like I don't research any of this stuff. I just channel it and I'll look it up later. I'll talk about a black hole. Sometimes I'll look up something to get a word I need. Sometimes I'll use a word. I use the word Magitech quite often, and that comes out of Final Fantasy
Yeah,
because I don't have this to describe it. I have no other word in my vocabulary to describe something with that's metaphysical
mm.
and technological. So I'll
And
use words from
sorry.
TV or video games. So I'll use words from TV and video games, the best words. So that's what I do. So it's like, yeah, oh, it's not real because he's talking about Magitech. Oh, it's a warp drive. That's just Star Trek. No,
No,
it's not.
it's just a literary device to put forward the
It's just
information in a way that's easy to understand.
yeah. It's like I'm gonna use whatever word I can use to describe something. If I don't have the if I get the roll call word for something, no one's gonna know what the hell it means. The language is in there. I do got parts of the language in there, and it's not going to help describe it because then you got to go look up what it is in the Rokat language, and it's going to say a type of warp engine or whatever. If I was to specifically get their propulsion systems, they got like 3 or 4 different propulsion systems.
Yeah, I had a look
One
at
of them is
that.
like one of them is a folded space, and I think they got a wormhole and a jump drive, like some kind of a jump drive type that goes from point A to point B in an instant or something like that. So there's several systems they use, and I have to use what's from science fiction to describe how it would work because we don't actually know how it works yet.
Mm.
And I wouldn't be able to channel the actual mechanics or the math because there's nobody on Earth to get that information from. There's nobody on Earth that has the words for it yet. We haven't gotten that far. So that's why Magic Tech's in there, because I got nothing better to use to describe a system that is capable of interacting with the spiritual realm, a higher interdimensional technology. And I just call it Magic Tech. It's a lot shorter. It's shorter to call it Magic Tech than to call it interdimensional technology.
Mm.
Magic Tech is like 5 letters or 8 letters, not that interdimensional, whatever. It's really long.
And
So
when you channel these things, how do you do it? If you mind going.
I use alcohol to break down my barriers because when I'm not drunk, I can't channel anything.
Oh, so
I'm just
you're using the alcohol in a chaos magic kind of way as an altered state of consciousness.
that's what I've been doing. I use alcohol to break down my barriers because I can't channel anything without breaking the barrier down. I don't seem to have the ability. It's like something that was built in to stop me from. I'm not sure why it was. I'm not sure why I'm set up that way where I can't channel anything without breaking the barriers down. And then when I get really shit faced, if I'm not channeling, I'm flirty, very flirty when I'm blacked out with no entities. And if there's entities, it's whatever the entity is going to fully take over, and it's going to be typing whatever it wants on the internet. And sometimes there'll be some threats on there or whatever. It's probably Jacoba. Sometimes I post stuff about planets. It's one of the other aliens will take over or a demon. Sometimes they'll speak out at me and talk about doing other stuff. And when it's just me with nobody, it's all that comes out is mushy, lovey-dovey stuff. Or whatever, all the things about having a crush on people and all that. And people seem to like the hound on me about the lovey-dovey stuff when I don't even have memories of that. It's like completely blacked out. There's no memory of it. And if there's no demon, it's just all I'm going to do is hit on people. And I hit on Chris because she freaking sent me love letters. Of course, I'm going to hit on somebody who sends me a love letter and signed it, and it says "Love you to the moon." What do you think's going to happen? And she wants to hide it, and I don't. I made it fully public. She got mad at me a couple of times, and I told her. Me and my friend Daniel got on I think we did a voice thing a long time early on. When I told my friend Daniel about the love letter, about the love card with a letter in it. I told Daniel about it. It's like, no, she needs to admit it. He said she needs to admit it. She needs to be public about it. Public display of affection, the PDA thing. And I agreed with him. So we got on Twitter's Messenger. We did like a group chat, and Daniel was like, "You got to admit it. You got to tell the world. It's not right that you're hiding it. That's not showing the love." And she was adamant on trying to keep it undercover. And I was like, "Fuck this. Let the world know. I'll just deal with the trolls. I'll just tell them to screw themselves or whatever." And like, I don't care what they think. And then only recently I found out that she threw away. She had a chance for a girl recently.
Yeah, that was interesting.
She had a girl interested in her recently, like earlier this month. She had Fiona. I was like, she's freaking tossed away Fiona for what?
Yeah.
Good looking. I would like to get a hold of her. I would like to get a hold of her and tell her that, make sure she knows that Christian can't love you back. I have a love letter from her, and she wasn't even sincere in that. She was all trying to be undercover with it and trying to hide it. And it wasn't even sincere. It turned out she was just using me for my power and what I was going to teach her. And part of my lesson is that there's a physical part to the lesson. You have to physically practice the rituals in the temple. It's a whole system. There's like 7 different magic. In this, I think there's 6 classes of magic. I think I got like 6 major divisions of religion. and she needed to learn at least 4 of them to get to the point where she'd have all the tools needed. She had to have a cloak from the elves. It was like an elven cloak of protection she had to make. There was a ring of manifestation that was Sorhonic. And when I mentioned this Sorhonism publicly, because I'm gonna let the world freaking know what I'm doing. I made it public, and she's gonna learn how to make some tools. And of course, they read enough of the magic. Gibby Devin mentioned the sacrifice spells, but totally neglected all the good stuff that's in there. Like the tools it has are some powerful magical tools in there. And they were for communicating with celestial entities that would help her manifest. It turns out it would have never worked anyways, because I have one of the rings, and it doesn't do what it describes. The spells were written for their world, not ours. So it works, but not to that level.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a difference between magic on Earth and on Kitasuna. The magic totally works in a different way.
Because you
There's like a
mentioned
different.
when you first made contact, you mentioned off-world magic and then Earth magic.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's what the Pan Mythic. The Pan Mythica is off-world. It's the Kitasuna magic. It was the 3rd book. Is supposed to be the lesson plan that Mitra teaches his students on Kitasuna. It's his lesson book. And Pan Mythica is 1, 2, and 4, which I'm working on as a timeline. Those are books to teach you even how to understand the Pan Mythica. They give you the culture that if you were born on Kitasuna, you wouldn't have to read. So I have those books are to teach humans how to use the Pan Mythica 3 because it's off world. And apparently the magic is described. It does more powerful things on Kitasuna than it does on Earth. And we think and there was a chapter in my channeling logs that mentioned magic coming from the dark. You know the universe is like 95% like dark energy and dark matter. We don't understand what it is, like fully understand what it is. The Rocut claim that's the higher dimensions. That's the mass of the higher dimensions. And the more dense it is around your world, the stronger magic is. And they claim that Earth used to be in a denser region of dark matter a long time ago when things like Merlin and shamans and all that were more powerful. And with Christianity, it came later, and the magic started to wane. Magic started to go away from the world. And Kitasuna is described as being in a very dense region of dark matter in its galaxy. And that's why they say magic is really powerful. And they settle planets specifically in regions like that. So they'd have more metaphysical power too, along with their technology. And their technology uses it as well, uses it for power. They can bring the dark matter to a lower frequency and make matter and antimatter to power their machines.
I'd recommend if people have this stuff, I recommend looking through it. The detail is it, it's not what I expected. It's huge. The amount of
Yeah,
detail. I mean, you even have an entire way a city or a town is going to be set up, and then the houses and everything.
yeah. I was describing the zoning on book 1. I was describing zoning and stuff like that. And book 2 is the literal history of everything, and that's why I'm building a timeline. Because there's dates in there, and I can ask the aliens for the dates and stuff I don't have dates for. But I'm actually making a literal timeline given the years of all the different events that are in the book too. So I don't know if I'm going to change the titles around again or what. If I'm going to move Pan Mythica to the 3rd book to number 4 and move the timeline to the 3rd position. I don't really feel I need to do that, but I'm going to make it a type of an index. I'm going to make it into an index. That they'll have the timeline. They'll have an index of events, like an appendum, like an appendix or something like that. We put all the words and it says where it appears. I'm creating that right now for the channeling logs because I'm going to publish the channeling logs online at some point once I get all the personal details taken out of like phone numbers, addresses, or whatever, all that stuff taken off for the public version. But I do want to publish those, have them printed out.
And
But it's 3,000 pages.
no one's gotten hold of these, right?
No, they can't because it's never been online. I release
Good,
stories, like individual chapters.
because you
Only
could
chapters have
probably
been.
publish those.
I
Uh,
wish I would probably have the Secret Service coming down on me because stuff they've done has happened. Events. I could get in trouble for releasing some of it. So there's things they predicted train crashes, they predicted meteor strikes, they predicted quite a bit. They even predicted COVID. They even predicted COVID-19 coming out. They said something I think in June about it, about a pandemic coming out. There'd be a major pandemic. They said they talked about it. That was even before Fauci threatened it. Because Fauci threatened early on in Trump's term about it. Early on, I was like, I don't believe that or whatever. And then all of a sudden, the aliens said it's going to happen, and then it freaking does. So there's a lot of predictions in there that are just I can't release, and that means I have to redo the page numbers and all that stuff. So some books I don't know if I can ever release because there's too much just like secrets in there, secrets about governments and things. So the aliens were able to spy on governments. They told me about black ops programs, invasion of the Earth. There's the whole plan how they were going to invade the United States in there, like a whole blueprint how to invade, like they use an EMP pulse from orbit, all that stuff. So all that stuff has to be removed for me to publish.
mm, that's
It
that's
goes, it's just
interesting.
too in depth.
Mm. Well, I gotta head off, but I if you yeah in the future want to make certain more videos to go into more aspects of things from your perspective, I'm definitely happy to do so. It's been very interesting.
Okay, well we'll do. I guess we'll just go through the books. There's just at least seven. I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of pages. So we'll probably look. We'll pick through a little bit here and there.
Mm.
Go the books and make more videos. And everything I've said you can publish. It's just where if you want to publish to YouTube, I would edit out a lot of. But it's up to you what you do with the information I've given you. Everything I've said is public somewhere. So everything you can publish.
All
Everything
right,
I say
thanks,
to
man.
you is used. So I'll let you go do your day and all that, and I'll. So just let me know if you got questions and all that, and we'll answer it. We'll answer it in another video.
All right, that sounds good. It was nice meeting you, Jacob.
Yeah.
All right,
All right. Well, have a good day.
have a good night.
Yeah. Thanks.